joining me on this edition of State of the State on this channel. I am Sunday Balaole. Today, focus will be on the Urban Renewal Initiative of the AIDA to Administration in Ondo State. And joining me in the conversation is the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, who was a member of the House of Assembly, now a member of the Executive Council of Ondo State. Honorable Sunday Olajide Don joins me on State of the State. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
State.
My namesake.
Very well then. Let's kick the ball rolling this way.
Okay.
I do understand that very many things come to mind when Urban Renewal Initiative is the focus of conversation. As it is today in Ondo State, the first thing that comes to mind, as far as Urban Renewal Initiative is concerned, for the AIDA to administration, is the roundabout conversion, especially the First Bank roundabout. Now I understand the NEPA roundabout is also being converted. What exactly is the rationale behind this?
Well, thank you very much. That program is not just conceived this minute, but it has taken some scientific, analysis. We did not just come about removing roundabout. We have done quite a number of study, and we understand that for ease of traffic and for better flow of traffic, we need to remove the roundabouts we have at those points. Then beside, world over, the best practice is the way we have done it now. Yes, at the time, it was so popular, and it was a way of doing things, putting roundabout. But these days, with traffic light, you don't need the roundabout. So we came up with the idea that if we put roundabout, it will help the flow of traffic better. Then, ordinarily, even for aesthetics, it's better. And of course, what we want to achieve is easy flow of vehicles. But it has not just come without its own, side effect, and that is people must understand that now we have, traffic light, and people should just be mindful of the traffic lights and obey traffic lights. In the past, when people don't obey, even the roundabouts, when we have it there, you discover that we have accidents and all that. But when we are conscious of the traffic light, because it may surprise you that a lot of people just move without even considering the traffic light.
Now, yeah, where there was supposed to be an accident, at least I witnessed one, even after erecting the traffic lights and the so-called modern way of doing things that you've converted the roundabout to now be.
Yes, even with roundabout or without roundabout, when people are not obeying traffic rules, there is bound to be accidents. And that is why it is very important for us to be more careful now that we have a change of design, because some people are not yet used to the free flow technique that we have introduced. Some still believe in the roundabout thing. So, and some don't even look ahead to see maybe the traffic light is on green or on red. So some people still don't understand it. It's so unfortunate that accident happened. But again, it's a lesson to all of us that we should, when we're approaching traffic light, we should be mindful. And because really, accidents on a free flow way is usually more fatal and more dangerous when people don't obey it. So it is better people obey it. So as good as it is, people will have to obey the traffic rules.
You talked about
Then
scientific study
Yes.
that brought about this. What was the result of your study that you now feel that you should replicate that with the NEPA roundabout that's now also under conversion?
Yes.
In fact, what some people call it, if I may tell you, some say you are editing.
Editing what?
Editing the existing structure.
You see, now, when you look at even one of the places we have heavy traffic flow, for example in Lagos, is at the Allen, Allen Junction. And years back, we used to have roundabout there. But for some years now, the roundabout has been removed, and it helped flow of traffic. See, yes, people tend to be slow in adjusting to every new thing. So, but apart from having, you know, security people and traffic wardens and all that there, it is even very important for individuals to be careful about it.
How much of enlightenment is government also doing to ensure that people also get accustomed to this change?
Well, I think the first indication is the light. You are looking at the light.
So the light is enough
the light,
enlightenment.
you see the light is ahead of you. And of course, you know some of the places, for example, NEPA is on construction. You see construction works here and there. So it is, I don't need to tell you. You don't need to tell me that, okay, there's construction work. You have to be careful. So you'll discover that some people don't even mind. You still, I've noticed some people trying to beat the light. So why should you want to beat the light? You don't need anybody to tell you that a vehicle is coming, that you don't have to, you cannot afford head-on collision. Avoid it. But some people, they just try to play smart. They just try to, you know, make it fast. And we discovered that some people lack respect for law and order. But again, we'll continue to talk to them. We are working on some jingles and some, programs that will reorientate.
You're just working on jingles, enlightenment jingles, sensitization jingles. You're just working on them after you've done the first bank. Now you're doing the NEPA, so you just want to enlighten and sensitize the people?
Not just on roundabout.
Okay.
We're talking about my ministry. We're
Very
talking
well.
about the activities of government. I'm just telling you that it is a continuous thing.
And now I'm asking about that roundabout that's been converted now.
Yes.
Are you just now going to sensitize the people? How about sustenance of such sensitization?
You see, I don't have to tell you to look at traffic light and obey it.
But since it's a change, you agree with me there's a need to let the people get accustomed to the change.
Yes.
Especially because if you agree that it's not punitive, except you are saying it is punitive.
It is not punitive. You know, it is a way of doing things better. And it has its advantages. But again, for everything, even when roundabout was there, we recorded accidents. But the fact remains that we should obey traffic rules. And if you say, oh, we need to tell people now to obey traffic rules.
Are you aware that FRSC still does sensitization on road signs and all of these traffic lights observance, despite having been in existence for years, many years?
That is why I have just told you that we have never stopped sensitization, that it's a continuous thing, that even as I'm talking to you, we are still working on some jingles, something that will keep people more informed and, of course, reawaken their consciousness about some of these things.
Well, so much said about this roundabout conversion, but before we leave it, the NEPA roundabout now being converted to the modern way of doing things, in your words.
Yes.
How well is this going? Are you also looking at, or let me say, is government also looking at the narrowness of the road in that place? Is it going to be widened a bit, or what exactly is the provision so that the free flow of traffic that government wants to achieve is not stalled along the line?
You see, the roundabout itself is an obstruction. When you
The
look at
roundabout itself is
an
obstruction.
obstruction.
The width of it.
Yes, the width of it.
Okay.
So when you see these, the process of negotiating, I mean, the size narrow down the space. But when everything is removed and you obey the traffic light, we discover that you just have more space. You know, surprisingly, you just have space. For example, somebody was telling me a few days ago, you know, we used to have these structures we put around the urban market for the buses. So, but because of the traffic situation, we have to remove those things recently. And somebody was just telling me, oh, this road, is it, what's happening here? It has suddenly become very wide. So when you put structures, you know, on the road, it narrows the road. And it makes it look like it's so small, so narrow. But when that is removed, you just discover that you have more space.
Well, Honorable Lajide, you've pushed me to the work being done on Obadeshida Road, the Oja axis. So let me just go there then. Beyond removing those concrete barricades that they call concrete slabs, is government also looking at other things to decongest that place, especially discouraging, nay, enforcing the ban on roadside trading so that pedestrian lane can be for pedestrians and the embankment that's been removed can be really used by vehicles, not just during festivity, but at every point in time, not just during weekdays, but also on weekends.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's not just Christmas period or any other festive period. It has to be every day. We are very concerned about the congestion we have there. And that is why in the first instance we have to remove the barricade. And you see, it has been a recurring thing. I mean, the traffic, the congestion there. Remember at the time when Governor Akeredolu have to, put this divide, big
Concrete dividers.
So to prevent people from crossing, so that at least they will not reduce the free flow of traffic. Well, people turn it to so many things and all that, but of course, definitely, he wouldn't just want to wake up one day and say, let me divide this place. No, it's one of those things that, one of the postulations there that, okay, if we do this, people will not be crossing and the traffic will flow. But again, we discover that even the concrete that was put on the main road for the buses, they turn it to chairs, they turn it to selling tables and all that. And the moment, of course, when workers, the task force, when they close, before you know it, everybody comes to the road.
Was the task force really doing what it should do?
Yes,
all along there?
Now again, we need reorientation there, and we need again to be mature about some of these things. A lot of people have shops inside the market, but they prefer to bring their wares to the main road.
But I understand that government has enforcers. In fact,
yes,
government has a task force domiciled in a special duties unit, I think.
Yes.
Why is enforcement at the lowest ebb, if I may put it that way?
Well, at some point in time, enforcement may go like, okay, it has weakened out. Maybe for some time now.
For political reasons?
No. We don't have that ministry or that particular agency has been slow because, we used to have SC on special duties that specifically, takes charge of that. And now that the SC has been, appointed and is working, you will see when you join that with the fact that, okay, urban development is there working, infrastructure is working on the same thing, you discover that for some time now, since those concrete concrete slabs, those small ones, the small ones, since they've been removed, you'll see that the traffic flow is getting better, and we are preventing people, letting them know that it is not just too good for them to keep coming out. And you see, we are being careful sometimes that, okay, the size of the market around our place is becoming too small for the people there. But just that, like every other market, when the market is selling, everybody wants to come there. Even when government creates other markets, they still want to come there, believing that that is where their market will sell. So the place is overpopulated in terms of, as a market for the people. And we have markets elsewhere. So people...
Isn't that where the job of enforcement comes to play?
Yes, and that is why, you are seeing the changes. So enforcement is on now.
Isn't it too early to celebrate what you call change?
Well, The point is this: if we don't do it, the place will be so congested and so rowdy.
What is
If
the
we do,
assurance that this will be sustained? That's my
it
point
will
of
be.
questioning.
That is why I'm in office. That is why every other person in this arena is, I mean, every one of us, that's why we're in office.
All right, because of our time, Honorable Commissioner, beyond this issue of roundabout conversion and then the free flow of traffic that government intends to achieve on that corridor, the Obadeshina corridor, I'd like to know what other thing is in the blueprint, if there's any, for the Obarino initiative of the Awais mandate ahead to administration.
Thank you very much. This government is in love with urban development. And of course, I tell you, and I think that was last month, less than a month ago, the ministry was, supported by Mr. Governor, that look, we need to have master plan for some of our cities. And the master plans have to be obeyed. And when you have that, the city become more organized, in terms of you have different uses for, lands. And of course, you won't have school where they're supposed to be an hospital. You won't have market where they're supposed to be residential.
What about gas plants where people are residing?
Where people are residing already.
Gas plants at residential areas.
You see, the idea is this: gas plants, depending on, we have different sizes. We have the small sizes that can be around,
Residential places.
Yes, but it depends on the size and the location too. Even within the residential places, we have some places that can accommodate such, provided we have enough space at the front, at the back, so that even in case of any problem, it doesn't just get to the next building. So there are standards, and it's not just the state that regulate the issue of gas plants. You also have the federal government, so regulating before license.
What does the master plan say about gas plant situated right inside or just beside the petrol station? Is the master plan also looking into that?
Gas plant can be inside petrol station.
Okay.
It depends on the size. Like I said, for example, you have a major petrol station that can accommodate gas, maybe small gas cylinder, and we have to consider the size of the place, and we have to consider the size of the cylinder you are bringing in. So it's not everything is regulated. So it's not just all common things. The process of getting license for gas station is so hectic, is such that so many things have to be considered. So before you get the approval, even from our end, we have to look at so many things. We look at the environmental factors. We look at the environmental, impact assessment. How will this affect people living beside the place? How will it affect, the passers-by? So we look at all this. We don't just issue, approval for land use clearance for petrol station or for gas station. Okay. No, we'll have considered so many factors, and we follow best practice.
Yeah, Honorable Ajay, I'll come back to the issue of land use in the course of this conversation, but let me go back a bit to the issue of this urban renewal, especially as far as what we are seeing is concerned. The Alagbaka corridor seems to be having some new touches. Well, I do not know why some people call it editing, but even if it is editing, it's wearing new face. And of course, that's, to a large extent, many commentators said kudos to government. But I want to know, beyond the curbs that are being used to now beautify the road dividers, is this urban renewal initiative also considering the drainages on that corridor, the Alagbaka to Federal Secretariat, to the Igbatoro, Imafon Road, and also on the axis to CBN, up to NEPA roundabout and all of that.
Thank you.
What is government doing about
Thank
the
you very
drainages?
much. You see, I just wonder when some people say anything. When you have a house and you'll be staying there for a while and it's getting dirty, won't you paint it?
Of course, I will.
So you won't make it more beautiful?
Of course.
If you have to introduce some aesthetics, won't you do it? So
That's
whether
what government
you
is doing.
So whether you call it aesthetic or not aesthetic, we have to look at what is on ground and make it better. We have to make it more beautiful.
So it is
now,
infrastructure maintenance.
Now, yes, maintenance, and we introduce some new things. Introduce, new street lights. Introduce, some, because, of course, we all know the problem we have with electricity. So, but with solar, of course, you know that you can save more cost and you can make it even more regular, as long as the sun is coming out. So, but apart from that, let me go to your question. The renewal is holistic.
Okay.
If we are looking at the road, if we have potholes and we have to do overlay and all that, we're looking at the curves to the, dividing in and all that. Again, we have to look at the, the drainages.
When will you look at the drainages?
We're working, everything is working together.
When will government look at it?
It has to be one after the other. You don't do everything at the same time. So as we're doing, it's not the time, at the time we put on, we put up the solar light, at the time, the caps, and at the time the overlay, then definitely the drainages we follow. And not just the drainages, even some of the walkways too, we have to be improved upon. So
what will happen to vegetation control? I'll give you an instance. Okay. Right in front of CBN, you find, I don't know what to call it, heaps of bushes now. I don't know how to describe that. But you find a disgusting sight, if you permit my word or my diction there. Bushes all around. You also find that also along the corridors of power. Is this not supposed to be part of urban renewal initiative? Should they be there?
Now, government functionaries work together. Government, you don't just separate. Our activities, environment, waste management, urban infrastructure, we all work together. Now, if some places have not been touched, probably you don't want to walk twice. There are some plans for a particular place, and when the time comes, we begin to work on it. As for example, like a road, you want to do a holistic work on a road, and some say, okay, you should come and grade it first, so that we use it for 2 weeks before you do what you have to do. No, we won't do that. So we'll rather say, okay, let the work continues. So some of the places, okay, for example, the place directly opposite government office, the secretariat there, you can see that it's wearing a new look. The contract was issued earlier in the year to have, a park there. And people may not understand the final look of a place while work is going on. So, except you are privy to the 3D, you've seen the way it's going to look at all that and all that. So, but for now, it's work in progress, and the work is going on steadily. Government is very interested in it. So, like I told you, it shows part of the reason why I say that Mr. Governor is actually interested in urban renewal. We don't just have to leave everything the way it used to be. No, we have to put touches, and where we have to do a whole lot of new things, then the government will not shy away from it. So get to do it.
Let me read the comment of one of the leaders of thought in society. He was commenting on the urban renewal initiative, and he did say kudos to government, but he is worried about the fact that some vegetation, ornamental vegetations, flowers as we call them, are being removed and concretes are now taking their place. He is worried if this is climate friendly and if it is not absurd. What do you say?
I will tell you it's not absurd. What is even the length? What is the width of our road? What's the width? What space I mean, the roads, what space the roads do they take of our landscape? You know, when we have to do this, it doesn't mean we forget about vegetation. No. We are blessed here. We have trees, virtually. Even when you don't even have to plant trees, we have trees. And we have grains. There's no doubt about that. So
let me help you further a bit. The man is talking about, there's a road right in front of government house leading to Okeda. Flowers, trees are all on the road divider.
Left and right.
Not left or right, in the center. That's
Yes.
the road divider. Removing them and putting concrete there is what he is worried about.
Yes, why you should not worry? In that particular road, when you are looking at it, the right hand side, the left hand side, we have trees.
Okay.
We have grains everywhere. So do we have to put grains in between the roads again? So when grains become necessary, it will be done. But when it's not necessary, you begin to look at what other alternatives you have, what other things you need to do. So if, for example, government feels, we look at it and feels, okay, we don't need trees here any longer because we have trees on the left and the right. It's all about green. It's all about vegetation. It's all about making the place climate friendly. So that we put
Removing
concrete
the
there.
ones
The
in
one
the
in the
middle
middle
does
doesn't
not
take
make
any,
it
doesn't
not
take it,
climate friendly?
It doesn't take anything away from us, climate-wise.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Now, I like to know, you talked about it the other time, but I want to know what synergy exists really among these agencies. Your ministry, the Ministry of Environment, Waste Management Agency, and the Ministry of Infrastructure, Lands and Housing. What synergy exists to be able to have the intended purpose of overall urban renewal, not just in Akure, but in Ikare, in Nowo, in Okitipupa, in Igbokoda, in Ore?
See, don't forget that.
Because Akure is not the only
don't,
city.
Don't forget that all these ministries, people there are appointees of Mr. Governor. And we all work together. And where we need to involve Mr. Governor, we involve them and we involve him. Where we need to have committee between ourselves, set up committee to work on a particular project, we do it. So we work together.
Okay. So when will it be the turn of Owo? When will it be the turn of Ikare? When will it be the turn of Igbokoda, Okitipupa? These are also cities in Ondo State. Akure is not the only city.
Like I told you, don't be too much in a hurry. You see, it's one after the other. It's not, the government cannot possibly take on everything at the same time. See, we have to look at, okay, of course, funding is there too. So when you are doing your budget, you don't just say everything government needs has to be done in a particular year. No. So some you start, some you complete, and some you just start. And that is how it goes. It has to be one stage, one after the other. It's not as if all the other cities are left without development activities. No. I mean, government is doing roads virtually
we are talking
everywhere.
about urban renewal initiatives.
I know.
I know the issue of roads come handy for this administration each time.
Now let me tell you, just like I said, just few weeks ago, last week to be precise, last week or week before last, the urban renewal, the fiscal plan and urban renewal, were in the Southern Senatorial District for sensitization and engagement, stakeholders engagement. So we were people, different set of people in the habitation business. The architects, the artisans, of course, the royal fathers, the traditional rulers, we engage all of them in each of the 6 local governments in the Southern Senatorial District. And what are we preaching to them? To bring the gospel of physical planning and urban development. Why they should key into government thinking and why they should get necessary approvals. Why we should educate them, reorientate them, and all that. So we started from the Southern Senatorial District. Okay. Next, we're going to do the Central before we move to the North. We cannot possibly do all the 3 together at the same time. So government is interested in carrying the people along. And of course, a lot of people, maybe for one reason or the other, it's not everybody that is aware about the activities of physical planning.
Okay.
So we have to take it to their doorstep. And of course, I want to believe we are running a jingle, even here in your station and some other station at the moment. That is to try to, you know, reorientate people about some of what the law says, especially when it comes to building plans, layouts, and of course, urban renewal activities.
All right. Other commissioner tongues are also wagging about this issue of approvals, permits, and licenses. Well, let me stick to the issue of approvals. For instance, building approvals. Sometimes you find you see this red ink,
Yes.
and then you see this X, the crossing,
Yes.
that stop work.
Yes.
Ministry of Physical Planning and
Urban
Development.
Development, yes.
You find it there, and then maybe in 2 weeks' time, the thing is cleared and work is ongoing. Nothing happened anymore, and all of that. So some people say maybe they didn't do the needful to the ministry, and the needful has not been done. What is that needful? Is it a case of taking kickbacks from them? What exactly is the needful?
You see, like I told you, so many people just build arbitrarily. They don't come for permits. They don't come for approvals. You have your building plan, and the next thing is that you give your bricklayer to start building without even approval. So now, when we see that, some of them will look so appalling that, you know, probably they just started, and the cost of our routine checks here and there, you know, we have monitoring and enforcement department. So seeing this, we have to maybe, by crossing it, we are telling them that we are there, something is wrong.
What could have been wrong?
Yes, number one.
Beyond the issue of coming to pay for approval, what could have been wrong?
Number one, the law says that you cannot put up any structure without approval. You are not expected to start any structure without approval. So you want to build. Won't you have a plan? Do you just start building without any plan? So you want to build, you have a plan. That plan has to be approved. Because one, we have to check this building you want to do, on which land? Is it a residential land you want to put school? Or like you said, gas station the other time? Is it where we have market that want to put a gas station? Is it an is the land meant for industrial use, commercial use, social use, government setback, parks, waterways? There are so many things because the land itself, every city has limited number of land. So the available land has to be properly planned. Otherwise, you have a situation where you just, like a jungle, everything goes.
So what could have happened that made them to continue work even after the stop order?
Now, when it is observed that a building has no plan, and you get there, you mark it, and you stop the work. You ask the people working, do you have approvals? They may say, yes, they have approval. Okay, let's see your approval. And if it is okay, they continue. Now, when the monitoring team goes there, if they discover that what you are doing is in contravention of what you have in the plan, they will stop you. Sometimes they may even need to bring engineers. There was a particular building around a solo where, when you look at it, it's going to be three suspended building floors. And we discovered that after the first floor, when we went there on routine check, because we have building control department, or we go from time to time to check the quality of material being used. These materials, are they in line with the kind of things you want to build? So we discovered that the building looks so weak, and it will not take another floor. Talk less of going to 3 floors. So it's because we're there, and we have to. Then we did integrity test, I will discover that there is no way. If another floor is put on that building, it will collapse.
It's fantastic that you have such monitoring team.
So,
but I'm
now-
also interested in why the monitoring team will go mark a place for work stoppage,
Yes.
and in few weeks work continues.
Like I tell you-
and whatever it is that was wrong, was it fixed or the needful was done? What is the needful?
Now, for example, if you are supposed to get building, approval, and you have not done it, and you have started, probably maybe you have even put in your application before you started, and we got there. We have to stop you. Where's the approval? You can say, okay, it is pending.
Being
Okay, you
processed.
come, we look at it, and okay, have you met every necessary requirement? Then the approval is given. So you continue with your building. Then if we have
Not
contravention,
that there was any kickback.
forget about the kickback.
It was a case of
No,
doing what
you
was
have-
right?
You have to do it the right way.
No, okay.
Otherwise, if you don't do it the right way, you keep recording cases of collapsed building or people building maybe waterways and all that. For example, if we get there, if we discover that you have extended your building to the waterway, that it will obstruct free flow of water, then we'll tell you, this is what you have done.
Honorable
So
Jide, are you saying that under your watch,
Yes.
that ministry will not take kickbacks? The right thing will be done, and there won't be any form of taking bribes, and then work continues without anything.
There is no reason for taking bribes, because if we take bribe from you for doing the wrong thing, it will always get back to us. And when some other people come there, this thing is a continual. Living is an ongoing thing. And that person gets there tomorrow and he sees the approval given because somebody has taken bribe. Will he correct the wrong? No. So, for example, there are things you will not approve. They are not approvable. Now, there are some structures, obstructions, or contraventions. Even when it is done, they are approvable. We look at it, you have erred. We now say, oh, there is a contravention. You have to pay penalty. So, when you come and pay your penalty, then what do? You are permitted to go on with your building. So, but a situation where...
But the contravention isn't corrected?
No, there are some contraventions that at the end of the day, we look at it, you just be asked to pay penalty to government.
Not that the contravention will have
some
adverse effects on
on
lives and property of the people eventually?
Some are approvable. Some are not approvable.
No.
When it is not approvable, the government will not even ask you to come and pay. What we tell you is that don't do it, or remove the building, or we serve you notice of demolition.
Okay.
So, but if it is approvable, yes, you pay penalties and you move on.
In the course of this conversation, you've mentioned the fact that every city has limited land.
Yes.
And so there must be proper planning.
Yes.
I understand that large investment projects are coming to the state. I give you an example of the refinery, $50 billion projects, free trade zone and all of that. What is the commitment of government to ensuring proper land use that will not just forfeit lands of the people? Of course, held in trust by the governor. Just take such land and then it's gone.
I like your questions. Now, let me tell you, just about 2 months ago, we are in Nairobi to sign the MOU, which is United Nations Habitat. And what does that mean? We are interested in the master plan of our cities and of, we have the region, the different regions, the Southern Senatorial District, the Central, and of course the North. Now, in doing so, we are very particular about the South because of a lot of development that will be coming in not long a time now. We have the Araromi seaside, we have the refinery, we have the seaport, we have bitumen, we have even the coastal, we have the industrial hub in Ore, and quite a whole lot of activities. Modular refineries coming up. So, because all these are coming up, we need to plan a place. and to give us technical backing, technical support. So we have a collaboration with United Nations Habitat. So we've signed the MOU as of today. We are in collaboration with United Nations Habitat. Now, what does that mean? They give us technical support, and of course, we are necessary. They will assist us with, you know, donors or partners who can even support us, even financially, with some of the things we're doing. But let me tell you, just last week, the ESCO approved the master plan for Araromi Seaside. So before the end of the year, we'll start something on that, because if you've been to the Araromi Seaside, it's a very beautiful and lovely place. But the land there is so small, so it has to be properly planned. And a lot of investors are showing interest. So where they can't be building without proper planning. So we've done the scoping initially, and we are just going to look at the concept notes and all that. So
Planning, entering into MOU with the United Nations Habitat and all of that.
Yes.
I'd like to know how well climate resilience has been built in all of these plannings, because I raised the issue of drainage the other time, especially in Akure, in those capital. You remember in 2022, the issue of flooding was terrible and terrific. In Nigeria, over 600 lives were lost to flooding alone in that year. Then you see plannings and all of that happening to make sure that the incidents are reducing by the day. Well, in Ondo State, by now, there's no single incident. Well, good enough, but you cannot predict tomorrow. What is the level of climate resilience that's been put into all of these plannings?
now, let me tell you this first. Ondo State, as you have rightly alluded to, we don't have a flooding problem, at least this year. Nothing has been recorded. And I can assure you, it doesn't just come by accident.
Today is not like tomorrow.
But what had happened is not just by accident.
I agree
It's as
with
a
you.
result of
But
planning.
proper planning
and working
prevents
towards
poor
it.
performance.
So, and that is to tell you that in whatever we are doing now, we are considering virtually everything. And that is why we're talking about master plan. If it is master plan, you look at everything holistically. You look at roads, drainages, you look at residential building, you look at even social amenities, everything. So it's holistic. We have to look at it all. So as a result, we have to do things that will be climate friendly. We have to do things that will be enduring, that is sustainable, something that over time, you won't just do it and in the next few years there's a problem. So planning as it connotes is something that you have, is futuristic. You look ahead of the present. You draw lessons from the past, and of course, I told you we are even engaging the very best world over. If United Nations Habitat is partnering with us, we can't have it better, because it's not just something that is given to one hungry consultant. No, we are working with the very best.
All right. Before I let you go, Auto Commissioner, I understand that transparency in land allocation and permit processing is essential to public trust. I'd like to know what is the policy thrust of this administration in land allocation, especially against the background of the fact that the public always feel that politicians and political office holders will allocate to their cronies and to themselves at the end of the day, and then when they are going, they are richer than they came. What is the policy thrust of this administration as far as land allocation and permit processing is concerned?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, when government has land, we have different arms of government handling issue of lands. We have lands and housing, which is under infrastructure, and we have, of course, Ondo State Property Development Corporation. Now, when any of them have land, government acquisition is always for the people. When land is acquired, compensation is paid, is beacon, and different set of people with interest will apply. So when it doesn't really matter, maybe you are government. Of course, the people in government, the so-called government, there we have civil servants. Civil servants get allocations too from government. So, and even people outside government get allocation.
How transparent.
But it's very, it's
those that know people, right? Or
no,
just
no,
anyone?
No. For example, the very first land I got here through government here, I didn't know anybody. I wasn't even in government then. I just came and I went to Ondo State Property Development Corporation, and I said I want allocation. They said I should fill a form. I didn't know anybody. I came in then to town from Lagos, and I just went there that I need a land. I told them, and they allocated the land to me. So it wasn't because I wasn't in government.
How many years ago was this?
I mean, I was talking of some 12 years.
Can you say the same about the contemporary situation?
Now, government don't acquire so much land since then. There are no new acquisitions.
I understand. I'm just asking you, if such transparency still obtains now.
Yes, if government has acquisition now. In fact, what government does when there is acquisition, they now, after perfection, they give a portion of the land to the original landowners. Then the one for public use. Then the rest, whoever wants to apply.
Honorable Sunday Olajide, if you come back in the next 12 months, what's the commitment that we'll find a better planned, properly planned cities? We'll find properly planned cities, not just in Akure. And that's why I'm putting it into plural now. In Akure, in Ore, in Owo, in Ikare, Okitipupa, in very many other places like that.
Let me tell you, now Okitipupa has a master plan.
Okay.
That has been done. I mean, of course, we have presented it to the ESCO and has been approved. Okay. And it has to be followed to later. That of Rile is ongoing. Now, we are pushing for Araromi seaside, we are pushing for Akure, and we are pushing for every other city. So when it happens, you have a more organized use for your land.
We'll take you by your word, and then we'll keep a track of activities to be able to know how well you follow your word to the letter as government in this regard. Thank you very much, Honorable Sunday Olajide,
Honorable
Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. We've been having this conversation in the last 50 minutes or thereabouts, and it's been centering on the Urban Renewal Initiative of the present administration in Ondo State. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the conversation. It returns next week, God willing. I am Sunday Kolawole. Enjoy the rest of the evening.